Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Makakodash. And we is going to go live. It's a continuance of the first part of the video, part one. I believe it's called Esau Wants Our World and His, which he does, which he know he do, which he trying to do, but he just can't do it. It's about time that Esau knows that it's over with. It's over with. We see so many examples at this point. It's become repetition to believe that Esau is never going to bounce back. There's no way for him, man. There's no way for Esau, and he knows that. He knows that because just it's the Emerald Coast. This is Florida. It's a beautiful place. And Esau dwells. This is one of Esau's favorite places to go. Hit it up with the kids. Go eat some abominations down by the shore. All sorts of shit. Shit you're not supposed to be eating crab. You're not supposed to be eating lobster. You're not supposed to be eating camel. And I don't know if that's the Ishmaelite thing, but you're not supposed to be eating any sort of shellfish. You're not supposed to be eating any oysters, any crawdads. The list goes on and on and on. Any duck, okay? And all the other nations, they continue to eat that, because Esau's selling that. Esau got it for the low, and it is what it is. But we got precepts, precept upon precept. Look, and I know that's backwards. You feel me? But it's just a list of precepts, and they swear, man. And I'm looking up at the time. I'm just looking at the time on that. I swear that Esau get craftier and craftier. One of the things we have to remember is he's taken the days and he's turned them into whatever he feels like he can turn them into. It's a simple fact. Before you know it, we're going to be celebrating July 4th, Independence Day. And that's independence from what? All right, the British. We supposedly came to America for freedom and all that, But that's played out. We already know that's played out, man. We already know what time it is, man. Jake is gonna be up front. There's gonna be nuclear missiles that are gonna hit Babylon, okay, which is what you perceive, is here. People that aren't going to be hit by the missiles are going to be taken up in the chariots. Okay. This place is going to be destroyed. You will be taken to a place for such a time. You know what I mean? Of course, there will be judgment on your end. But those that believe, those that are doing the commandments, those that are, basically in opposition of Esau, and this is the so-called white man. Now you don't know who it is. We can assume, you can judge by the spirit, but sometimes you're not gonna know who is what, and it's a lot of confusion sometimes. And you see the confusion too. I was watching a documentary, and I believe it was on Netflix or something like that. And it was a soccer thing. It was a soccer documentary. And I've always liked soccer. I don't pay too much attention to soccer and none of that, but I've always liked soccer. And it's ironic that some of the best soccer players in the world are Jake. It's always It's always Jacob. And the only good and the only good Edomite soccer players are kind of like imitators. You know what I'm saying? They're just like imitators, and it's not the same. You know, it's just not the same. There's not the same vibe. It's not the same feel. Everything is different. His Esau's views, Esau's philosophy, Esau's infrastructure, Esau's whole entire existence is based off of not only vanity, and vanity through everything. If there's one thing that I know, okay, living in the state of Florida, is that vanity is abundant. You thought you saw a big ball of shit. No. Every single year, the wickedness increases. And in time, it's going to stop. We know it's going to stop soon. We don't know. We can't say the time exactly, but we know it's going to stop soon. And they know that too. That's why they want you every job you go to, they want you shaved up. They want your hair a certain way. With the women too, with the Judite women, not just the Judite women, but all Israelite women, even a lot of the Latina women, they're starting to get told, oh, you can't have your hair a certain way. Like, and granted, women are supposed to be working anyways. Now that's a whole different subject. But in the context of what it is now, you know what I'm saying, with them being the forerunner in Esau's eyes, they're having certain issues to where, hey, you may want this job, fucking architect, but they tell you gotta shave your face. What the fuck kind of sense does that make? You know what I'm saying? That's like you going to NASA. You got perfect mental capability to go to NASA. You got all the blueprints down. You walk in, everything goes smooth. You go over everything, say everything is impeccable. But that hair you got, that headband you got, and that facial hair gotta go. Are you gonna give it up? And these are some of the things that Jacob is gonna have to go through. These are some of his troubles. So as we get closer and closer to these certain landmarks, you have to remember, forget not. They're trying to throw Father's Day in our face. They're trying to throw Mother's Day in our face, Valentine's Day, Christmas, all these other things. And they think we're not going to go off precepts, that some of us aren't going to go off precepts. And they can cut off all the channels they want to. I've seen they cut off the brothers' channels in San Francisco. You know what I'm saying? And that was a very edifying channel. Shalom to those brothers out there. And I hope that they make another channel. Don't let Esau put you down. All you hopeful elect, don't let nobody put you down. If you want to read this Bible, man, you read the Bible. If your woman say don't read the Bible, fuck that shit. Read the Bible anyways. Because it's for you. Who else is it for but the 12 tribes of Israel? In the kingdom. Where is there going to be any room for heathens, Edomites? Where is that? Because in time, after this passes away and the kingdom is established here, of course there's going to be a world where there's Africans and Asians and all this, but the white man's rule is going to cease to exist, which means everybody's going to call on the Lord anyways. You know what I'm saying? So all this opposition, it's unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? If an Israelite man, hey, he's coming into the truth, he wants to read the Bible, let the man read the Bible. Because it's going to take a lot of time to break this on down. It's going to take your whole entire life. There is no break at all. There is no break. You don't get a break. People don't let their foot off the brakes on you, so to speak. Like, oh, he's Israelite. I'll let him do whatever the fuck he wants to do. No. It ain't like that. You see, this is what YouTube was created for. If you want to be completely honest, YouTube was created for our sakes, man. So that one day, truth could be broadcasted out. There could be a connection of other brothers in the faith. That's it right there. You know what I'm saying? This is just a messaging tool, you know. But what do people do? They watch dog videos, you might watch a cat drive a scooter, shit like that. When you know you could be getting up in here, and that's why 2/3 of our people they out of here. And Esau, you can get mad. You can cut off them channels. We already know what time it is, man. We already know what time it is. We can go live. You know, at a time, at a certain time, you know, you couldn't even do these things, such a thing. You know, you couldn't have your own space. You know what I'm saying? You reading the Bible, you would have to meet with others secretly, underground, and such things. But it's right to the precepts, you know, because they're never gonna stop us. You know, at this point, we're so far ahead, it ain't nothing you can do. It ain't nothing you can do but say, okay, these are the hopeful elect. These are men that want to move forward, keep precept upon precept, Salakia, and really try to go for the commandments. Cuss out these women, cuss out these children, also cuss out anybody who is not in line and in tune perfectly with Yahweh Shai. This is the future. This is the past. This is the present. I mean, you can try to deny it all you want to, but what you gonna do? It's over for you. Any brother that is come upon this truth and you say, "Oh, you scoffing?" Oh yeah, it's over for you because it's nothing you can do. You're either gonna get into the game, or you out of here. That's it. You know. So let's just get into the game here. Let's get into the game. And you know, sometimes you just got to keep moving forward. Because I tell you what, it's not no easy task. Esau is running rampant, man. Now, even the heathens, I'll give the heathens that. Y'all have nothing on the wickedness of Esau or the so-called black woman. I'll give y'all that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all close. Y'all close second. This is Isaiah chapter 11, verse 14. But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines toward the west. They shall spoil them of the east together. They shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. So what is this? This is just a future representation of what's going to happen. All of these people are going to have to be under subjection. It's almost like if you were to take a like a video game, you know what I'm saying, and everybody has their characters, and you just press the reset button, so all the stats just go back to just default, and you can just create, you know what I'm saying. That, and I'm not saying that life is a video game, and see Esau will try to say, oh, he's going off, but no, you get what the fuck I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. But anyways, it's like there is not the ability to come against the men of the Lord in these coming times. Of course you can scoff, you can do whatever, but nobody's knocking out the hopeful elect. That's not happening. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting touched, asked for a pass everywhere I go. Wherever I go, hey, that's where I'm going. And Lord willing, the Lord's walking with me. And Lord willing, the Lord is walking with people that believe what's in this book. Because I do. And I feel like before a lot of people don't, because they just it's the church vibe, because the church can make a lot of people not believe, and it talks about that, how you can lead people astray, and hey, I'll tell you what, being led astray, that's nothing new to Jacob. And that's that's something definitely not new to Eve. Eve go astray, you know what I'm saying? And it's nothing that we can do sometimes. To be completely honest, sometimes you just gotta let Eve be Eve, because Eve gonna come out the woodworks on them. Okay. This is Romans chapter 3, verse 1. What advantage then hath the Jew? Or what profit is there of circumcision? Much every way, chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of God. But what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? So a lot of y'all are trying to act like just because you scoffing, that's it. Like that's gonna be the end all be all. Oh no, there aren't any 12 tribes of Israel. Oh no, you can shave your face, you can eat pork, you can eat crab, you can eat whatever you want to. Your woman can dress however she wants to. You can go out on any day of the week you want to, do whatever you want to do. Go in and gamble all your money away, drink all your money away, go out, fight, you know what I'm saying? Be an adulterer, you know, all sorts of things. They're gonna tell you all that. How is that? You know what I'm saying? How is it that you act like, first of all, that the laws of God aren't in effect according to, Romans chapter 3, going down a little bit. Like, how y'all gonna act like God's laws aren't in effect? And y'all are trying to make the laws. Y'all are making up all these things, man, and it can be confusing. That's why you don't even go into the mind of Esau. Don't go into the mind of Japhet. Don't go into the mind of Ishmael. Don't go into the mind of Ammon. You just gonna bug yourself out. You have to stay focused, because if you reading these scriptures, nobody's gonna like that. It's just that simple. Nobody's gonna like it. But it's a certain glow when you start to read these. There's a lot of instances. People are saying, Slovakia. People are saying, hey, certain people have a certain look to them, a certain glow, and they can point you out. Now, you see beforehand, if you were Israelite, so-called Israelite, whatever the case was, they would look and you didn't know, because, camps like IUIC, ISUPK, GOCC, all these other sort of camps, you can look like anything. So it's like the church, so they're deceiving on all ends. So it's deception everywhere. It's deception everywhere. And Esau knows that. And he's bugging out. He wants our world and he wants his. But it's gonna be such a surprise when all so-called white people see what the kingdom of heaven looks like and sees 12 gates and sees the fact that there's no way to get in. There's no way to get in unless you coming out of one of those 12 tribes, and that's it. You can go, you can go amongst the spirit world. You know what I'm saying? And the spirit world is going to be manifested here on earth. You know what I'm saying? These final times when Yahushua comes back with the innumerable amount of angels and chariots. Oh, it's going to be glorious. And they say not to look forward to it. It's not going to happen. 98% of the women say it's not going to happen. Even the ones that claim to be an Israelite woman. You can't take that to heart, man. You got to back up and realize, it's about the men of Israel and what's going to happen, because it's not going to be bad for them. People continue to think that this is going to be bad. How much worse can it be? If the kingdom of heaven has so-called niggas ruling, and look, we're niggas. And when I say we, I'm just talking about all 12 tribes manifested. You know what I'm saying? Just Jacob being Jacob, all that in me. You look at that, man. How can the world be that much worse with niggas on top? You see how the world is with white people, so-called white people. You know that the wickedness. Hey, I seen because I go I go on World Star occasionally, like any other you know what I'm saying, so-called black person, and just you see time and time again, it's nothing but abominations coming from the so-called white man and coming from 2/3 of our own people. You know, and they had a fashion week, and I just seen this, some sort of fashion show, and there was like a pregnant woman, but she was transgender. So obviously she looks like a man, but she's pregnant. She's walking down the fashion runway. What is that? That's such a perverse nature. That's only coming from Esau. And see, he done so-called created the platform of YouTube and created all this and that. He knows he has no choice but to put me on. You got to put me on live. You know that? So they can try to delete all the GMS pages they want to, all that. You know what I'm saying? Try to delete all the pages. It's over for. We already know this. This is all these things are for our sake. You know, the earth even. All right. And we're going to get back to these precepts, precept upon precept, line upon line. Here a little, there a little. And they mind it so much, but what can you do? They gotta love it because they're going to in time. This is Psalms chapter 50, verse 21. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee, and set them in order before thine eyes. Now consider this, ye that forget God, lest I tear you in pieces, and there be none to deliver. Whoso offereth praise glorifieth me, and to him that ordereth his conversation aright will I show the salvation of Yahweh. So you gotta really look. You gotta really look at a lot of these precepts, man. Really look over what is being said. You can't overlook anything. Okay. You see how the white man always tries to say, "Oh, you can't." The Lord isn't listening to any of us. We can't like the so-called white man is trying to say that there's no connection to God anymore. God doesn't. I mean, God bless America, but God doesn't like America and this and that. Of course, He doesn't. He hates so-called America, aka Babylon the Great. He hates this place. We all know that, and subconsciously they want us to hate it too. I'm not hating it. I love this. Every time I see a so-called white man fall, a so-called heathen fall, hey, I'm for it. I'm for it because you talk down on niggas all day. Here it is, you just reading the Bible. You want to deal with your woman. You want to have a peaceful time with your family. Eat good, healthy food. You know, enjoy outside. You know, and you can't do a damn thing. Esau's all the way in your business, all the way in your business, man. And this is what all these precepts are about. These precepts are devised in order to cut and slash every preconceived notion that you have about Israelite men. If anybody doesn't like a video, then don't watch it. But for the men of the Lord who want to be edified, Kwam Yasharallah. You know, I'm with all so-called Israelite men that are not going off. You know what I mean? You don't absolutely have to be GMS. You know what I mean? That's not. It's just the Lord is working with those elder men. You know, this is why you follow these certain men, because Paul was following certain men. Certain men were following Paul. These are your elders. These are the people that taught you what you know and profess today. You know, and the Spirit is on you. And the Spirit is on those men too. You know, this is how you can continue to talk. There's always subject matter. They say, oh, we get the point already. Well, of course y'all get the point already. We're going to beat it into you. Beat it into subjection. And if you think this is bad, if you think a nigga with a headband yelling at you is bad, oh, man, then get ready. I'm going to put you on. I'm going to put you on what you're going to get. You know, all the men of Israel, this is what you can tell the so-called white man next time he gets in your face. This one right here. This is Isaiah chapter 29, verse 16. It's lucky. I was trying to get it. You know, your fingers slip. But as I was saying, this is Isaiah chapter 29, verse 16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? So you can try to deny all you want to, you know, but just as it says, surely. So that's definitely surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. So you turning things upside down. You know who you turning upside down. The whole entire world. Esau want to make everything a big deal. Oh, women should be getting paid as much as men. Women shouldn't be in the workplace. So that is just, I mean, and it is what it is. But then again, women's head should be covered. Women should be wearing dresses. They're not doing all of that. The so-called white man has ruined everything already. We're already at the point where now it's just the hopeful elect and the world. We're now at our last divisions. They've divided up everybody they could. Now we're in different factions. And then there's the smallest fraction, the Israelites, who just happen to be a good majority of the world secretly, yet they do not know. Yet they don't care to know either. And that's Esau's great line, his great deception is that these, not only these holidays matter, but, oh, God's not looking out for you, or God loves everybody. You know, the lies are endless. They don't know where to go. One way this way, one way that way. You know, and you get a mental fatigue when you think about it. All the news that you watch. That's why you got to stay away from the news. You know, be informed of the happenings of what's going on, but pertain to these more than you do, you know, Fox or CNN, because they're all controlled by the so-called white man anyways. They just have to profess some of their truths in order to sleep at night. If they did all the things that they did and there was no annals in history in order to project that, they wouldn't be able to sleep at night. See, they have to profess these things. You know, there's always truth in jokes, and that's why some of the greatest comedians were not only so-called black men, but also so-called white men. You know, George Carlin, and you know he may be a Jake. We don't know, but as far as we could tell from his way was, I mean, he was so wise that you could believe he was Esau. So we'll say he was Esau, but just the way that he broke things down, he understood that the world is deceived. There has been a snatching away of common sense. There's been a snatching away of spirit. There's been a snatching away of love, which is following the Lord's commandments. There's been a snatching of mercy. You know, everything has been taken away from not only the hopeful elect, but the children of the hopeful elect, the grandparents of the hopeful elect. We got diabetes running through the family, heart disease, everything. Where is that for the so-called white man? White man get the best of hospital care. You know, AARP Prime Gold membership for 25 years. You know what I'm saying? Change cars every year, 2 years. You know what I'm saying? All sorts of these amenities, and you don't think that these are curses or that this is going to end, because it has to end. We all see it. This is June 11th, 2018, according to this. So you know what time it is. We don't have that much more time. You can try to deny it, but all the fellow Akim keep on pushing this word. That's all you can do. Push this word. Because when you being an Israelite man is worse than a nigga who just got out of jail. It's like it's the equivalent of the same thing. It's hard to get a job. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't just you can't just have your face completely untouched. And this is how every man should look. But the so-called white man perceives just a clean all around look. Yet they're the dirtiest people on the planet. How is that, man? You gonna tell me I gotta shave and you putting pesticides in the food? You wouldn't how the hell is that? How the hell is it that Moab? I go into a so-called Chinese restaurant. They looking at me crazy, and they got all sorts of unsanitary shit going on, man. That's why sometimes, depending on the place, I can't rock with y'all. There's certain places that only the hopeful elect can dwell in. You go to certain places, the hopeful elect gonna be there. Peaceful stream, just a good scenery, somewhere where that this is where the so-called prophets would prophesy at. Coastlines where there are ports where there are a lot of people. There are places that Esau don't want us to go. Esau don't want us to look a certain way when we go there. And so they create all these splinter groups. And all you damn 2/3 Israelite groups, man, death to all of y'all. Because y'all are deceiving a multitude of men. A lot of men are turned away from this truth because they're not getting the right interpretation. And they don't do certain things. The big thing that I noticed with a lot of these other weird Israelite groups is they say that Esau isn't the white man. I even seen this video. It was I hate to say this. There was an Edomite man, an older Edomite man, an Israelite garb at some sort of GLCC event or something like that. And I thought to myself, man, that's a wicked vibration going on in there. And not only that, but isn't one of the Jakes gonna say, hey, man, as a wife too, what were you doing bringing him into here? What's that about? Even if you believe that Esau wasn't the so-called white man, why do you have him in garb, man? The fool, he had on some threads I've never had on before. You know what I'm saying? And I'm an infinite amount of more Israelite than he will ever be. He's 0%. I'm 100% Israelite. You know what I'm saying? And there's no such thing as mixed people. You are what your father is. So everything is being confounded. So-called white man knows that. So-called white man understands DNA to a degree most people don't understand. Deoxyribonucleic acid. And he tries to base certain things off of that. Oh, you're prone to this, you're prone to that, which is a good indicator. But the Most High is going to do with you what he will. If he wants to make you able to run 4 miles without getting tired, that's what he's going to do with you. He does what he wants to do. You don't. And so we've been taught this by the so-called white man, and this is what's going to continue to happen to him. All these things, all these things that we speak of, this is going to happen. And I can't believe it, to be honest. I really can't believe it. I can't believe that he really wants to stand up, and the whole nation of Edom wants to try to stand up against the prophets of the Lord, the hopeful elect. Why? Because that the Spirit is with some of us and that y'all have no spirit. You want to see us down, decrepit. It's never going to happen. Get used to it. Get used to seeing a good-looking black man with multiple women in the kingdom. And that's not the focus. The focus is not multiple women. That's just one of the advantages. That's just going to be one of the advantages. You can't get mad at that. They try to stop that. They try to stop that every single day. Oh man, if you see a black man and he got a girl and his girl is okay with him having other girls, as long as the girl is Like basically, like she's clean, like she hasn't been betrothed. Oh man, oh that eats them up. Cause see, that woman, the knowledge is put on that woman to know, okay, this woman is a help now. You know, if you got another woman that you're dealing with, and you just happen to get a virgin, I don't know how that's gonna happen in this society, but if you happen to get a virgin who is not a heathen, you know what I'm saying, and you just happen to put the waves on her, oh man, Esau's really in trouble then, because then you got a second hand. If one thing happens here, she can catch that, and they don't want that. So what do they say? Oh, that's polygamist, and they coming up with all these other weird terms. That's what y'all got going on. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all are outside of that. An Edomite is not even supposed to have, you know what I'm saying, anything proper. So why would y'all have multiple women? Yeah, you know, you see the elites. The elites have the primest choices of women. I'm talking about, you know, how brothers in the world say baddies. They got baddies. Fly all the way out to Qatar, you know, pop a chick for the weekend, then fly back to New York City and be in Manhattan for breakfast. You know, this is how they operate. And he only has a certain amount of time left. And I know they watch these videos. We don't make these videos for views or this and that. We put this out here. It's a constant vibration of the so-called white man's done for. Jake is rising up. You know, everything is in a perpetual cycle, you know, including these scriptures. These scriptures are in a perpetual cycle. All day long. It's all in our brains, the hopeful elect's brains, all day long. That's all you can think about is what's going to happen when the Most High comes and saves his people, which is the Israelites. This is Psalms chapter 137, verse 7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. So in those times, when Edom destroyed Jerusalem, they burnt it to the ground. You know, and that's symbolic because they're going to be burnt. You know, in those nukes, there's going to be a constant stream of fire coming after those nukes explode. This land will burn and burn and burn and burn. You know, it's going to burn for a very long time, and people all over the world are going to be able to see it because America will be destroyed in an hour. So everybody around the world is just going to see a giant plume of smoke. It may even, you know, block out the sun for a little bit. And it is what it is. This is nothing that I'm saying. This is just what I know to be true. You know, as a man who's hopefully close to the Lord's heart, you know, and tries to seek his face and doesn't follow the laws in perfection. None of us are going to follow them in perfection, but to continue to say, Esau is our enemy. Esau is the so-called white man. I cannot eat pork. I cannot go off. I cannot, you know, unfortunately, you know, have dealings with your woman during that time of the month. You know, eating a raw steak with blood coming out of it. We are not supposed to be having dealings with blood. You know, we're just not. And the so-called white man wants us to. All the time. He wants us to be like him. Go into slavery. Hell no. Some of us, we know if you're this far in the faith, well, you know you're Israelite, you know that 2/3 are gonna be destroyed, you know the whole thing. If you're still going off, if you still want to go into the world, you're done for. There's no place for you. You know, because you'll have your place, you know. No Israelite is going to be truly destroyed per se, but their place in the spirit world will be minimal. Why strive for mediocre? Why do that to yourself? You know, you want to rise above and beyond. You know, at least one thirds of us. But some, you know, just have no zeal. Slothful even. This is chapter 29, Verse 16. Slovakia. I'm going to start at 14. So this is Isaiah chapter 29, verse 14. Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder. For the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark. And they say, who seeth us, and who knoweth us? And those people are these elites, these people who are in the hills. They're in Manhattan. They're all over the place. They are very extravagant, and these are going to be the some of the choicest slaves in the kingdom. They're going to have to do Salaki. They're going to have to do a handful of things, and there's the spirit of rebellion is not going to be on them. It's not going to be a thing. You know, it's almost like they're always on a chill out mode, and they're going to have to work continuously because they live in abundance here. A lot of so-called black men, a lot of so-called Puerto Ricans, a lot of so-called Cubans, a lot of so-called Brazilians, they don't know what they're going to eat tonight. Yet the white man having all sorts of things: $10,000 lobster, $10,000 rare orange lobster. You know, you're paying $10,000 for an abomination, man. You got to think about that. Will there be a recompense for that? There sure will. You know, Kwam Yasharallah for that one. Yeah, there sure will. There sure will be a time of real justice, real justice and real peace, because this whole system we got going on here, oh, this ain't gonna do. That's why I said for the so-called black man, for the so-called Puerto Rican, the so-called, and we just gonna keep it real. This ain't gonna do. We don't want this. We want to see our children grow up in a true environment, an environment of safety and the laws first and foremost. Keeping a male cousin with the women at all times, you know, and it could be, hey, let's say this cousin right here, this cousin lost his arm in Iraq, you know, he get back home, people get mad at him because he can't find a job, this and that, you know, take that cousin. There can be another cousin you got in Texas. Hey, we got a troubled 13-year-old daughter. She is doing the most. Hey, I need you for 2-3 weeks. I need you to come. You can stay in the spare bedroom, you know, and I know you've been reading the precepts, you know, put the spirit on this young girl. Try to, hey, things like that. But Esau don't want things like that. For you to be able to have your spirit transcend different people, you know what I'm saying, having your spirit touch the lives of others in a positive way, they can't stand to see that. And that's why Esau wants our world and his. You know, I'm going to continue to say that because that's the name of this video. That's all he wants. He want our world and he want his. But he's gonna get neither. He can enjoy this now, you know, and that's my advice to any so-called white man, so-called, you know, heathen. Live it up to the best of your abilities, because soon enough these things will come to naught. Israel, because the elect group of men of Israel that are being hardened right now as we speak, they're not gonna want to hear shit later on. When there are certain things that are going to be able to be taking place, certain miracles will be performed. It's going to be likened to a person getting a spiritual power, able to, you know, do certain things, and it's going to be amazing. The angels, Yahushua is going to come back. The angels are going to come back, and the so-called white man and all heathens will be put into subjection. The heathens in righteousness and Esau in righteousness. But the difference is, even the heathen will have his section of land. It will be Esau that will be subject to the worst of things because of their nation, because of their forefathers. It's nothing against the person per se. This is just how it is. And there's nothing you can do about that. There really isn't. But it's a sad thing to know that 2/3 of my people are going to be destroyed. But it's also a rewarding thing to know that when the 2/3 are returned back to earth with a new heaven and a new Jerusalem, they will know that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Bahashem Kakodash, that's everything. That people are the new thing soon enough in years to come. The new thing will be, hey, I'm an Israelite. No, I'm an Israelite, and that's already happening now. People are contending to speak their truth on being an Israelite. Before you didn't want to be an Israelite. Now all of a sudden people are busting down the doors just to prove they're Israelite. Oh no, I know this, I know that. But it's not about knowing. You know what I'm saying? It's about who your father is. And that's everything along with the spirit. You see, because a lot of times people don't know too much information on their father or their father's father. So things can be misconstrued. So you can think you're a so-called white man. You may have the complexion of maybe like a Lionel Messi. You may look like a white man, but come to find out, you may be a Jake. So that happens a lot too. Esau, or a so-called heathen, will tell his child that he's Esau. Oh, you're mixed with white and this and that. So he'll have a high standing feeling, but all along he's Jake. So he's suffering the curses. It's unforeseen to him. And that's why we have to be likened unto children, because naturally children don't like to lie, or they have a hard time lying. So we have to be likened to what a child would be. In the spirit, also very small, calves, trying to get that little bit of milk, because you can't take big chunks of this and chew it down. It has to be all, it has to be all just condensed. You know what I'm saying? It has to be all brought down and sectioned off. You have to believe these things, figure out who you are, who your family is, where you come from, and then depending on where that goes to, you'll find out you're an Israelite, and that you had a certain set of rules that you were supposed to follow, and we don't necessarily follow them anymore. And this is why we're in the condition that we're in, because we constantly try to go off. That's all we do, day in, day out. Just go off, and we're gonna pay, but not in the sense that there will be a pain unto that 1/3 of Israel. There's not going to be a pain. There's not going to be a pain. There's going to be a relief. You won't have to work till your fucking back hurts no more. You won't have to listen to the incessant ramblings of the so-called white man. Because he thinks he's smart, but I swear, the so-called white man is one of the dumbest people I've ever met in my life. Everywhere I go, spewing all sorts of crazy philosophy. Let's get back to the scriptures. This is 2 Samuel chapter 8, verse 14. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna start at 10. Then Toy sent Joram his son unto King David to salute him and to bless him, because he had fought against Hadadezer and smitten him. For Hadadezer had wars with Toy. And Joram brought with him vessels of silver and vessels of gold and vessels of brass, which also King David did dedicate unto the Lord, with the silver and gold that he had dedicated of all nations which he subdued. So at this time, King David, who is also our relative, was subduing a lot of these nations, which it'll come back to that. Everything's going to come back to what it originally was. This is why you must learn about the ways of the past, because they're going to repeat again. You have to learn about these ways. And I'm going to go down a little bit more. I'll just go to 12. Of Syria and of Moab and of the children of Ammon and of the Philistines and of Amalek and of the spoil of Hadadezer, son of Rehob, king of Zobah. So he had all these under subjection. And all of these people have us under subjection now. This is how you know you're Israel. If you have all those people that I just listed over you, whether it's in your job, financially, spiritually, I mean, in every single aspect, when you go out, no matter where you go, a Puerto Rican man can't go to a restaurant with his family without Moab, Ammon, the Philistines. He can't go nowhere without them looking at him crazy. These people are over us, and one day we'll be over them. That's all this is. It's a reiteration. I only have two more that I'm going to do, and I'm going to go ahead and salute y'all out. Okay. This is Job chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Now my days are swifter than a post. They flee away. They see no good. They have passed away as the swift ships, as the eagle that hasteth to the prey. So you see that there's a lot of good points in that actually. See the earth isn't wicked, it's the people that inhabit the earth. It's only evil because the people inhabit this place. The land of Jerusalem now is only defiled because they're defiled, and it'll be cleansed with the reaction from the missile. That fire is going to cleanse that. It's going to cleanse that place like it's nothing. And I'm gonna and I forgot where I was because I was on my point there, but that's basically it on that precept. That precept is pretty self-explanatory, to be honest. And a lot of these are self-explanatory, but the so-called white man don't want to listen to it, nor does the heathen. But that's just too damn bad. It's getting to the point where they know they have to. They have to listen to the men of the Lord. It's no longer an option. You see it everywhere you go, and quite honestly, they hate it. They hate it so much, but Yahushua isn't going anywhere. These words aren't going anywhere. They will continue. They'll be continually in all of our minds, and by all I mean the children of Israel. This is Romans chapter 9, verse 13. No, forget that. Since I'm going to end on this point, I'm just going to start at Romans chapter 9, and I'll just go till I see fit. And there are a few more that I could continue on, but you can't make the video too long because a lot of Jake, they're not going to go through a 2-hour video. You got to kind of shorten things. And I've learned that too, that, that's a way to reach people. You got to sometimes give a little bit of information and switch to, different things. And they don't like that either. So-called white man hates that we're educating each other, reaching each other on the internet. They hate that. They want us doing the wicked like them. That's not going to happen. This is Romans chapter 9, verse 1. I say the truth in Hamashiach. I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Ghost, that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. But why does he have that heaviness and sorrow? Because he's wise. He's wise. Therefore, he's not going to be absolutely happy. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites. So he was an Israelite. Speaking to, I believe Paul wrote Romans. I believe so. Who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of God and the promises. So you can't even be a service. You can't even be a servant to God unless you're Israelite. So you can't even sin unless you're Israelite. You have to be a slave to Yahushua HaMashiach. You know what I mean? You have to constantly go over what he's telling you to do. There is no point of rest. You will serve, you will serve, you will serve. So men who get into this truth, they know that. That's where the true brotherhood comes from. You don't have to personally know the brother. You just know he's a servant in Hamashiach Yahushua. Just like when you have a big banquet event, you don't know all the servers, you don't know all the cooks, but because y'all are working together to create a good event, y'all have that sense of camaraderie. And because we're serving the Most High, you know, in his banquet, you know what I mean? We're serving in his banquet. He's gonna serve us, much like after a banquet. You know, a lot of the servers may get a plate to go, and a lot of the cooks may get some food for their kids when they go home. That's the same thing that's gonna happen to us. We're gonna get that food, that spiritual food, after we get done serving and we get done cleaning and sanitizing the place. We'll be able to enjoy ourselves, you know, and have our kids able to relax and eat too, you know, because that happens a lot in the service industry. You know, a lot of them have children, and you know the kids may have a babysitter, but when you have Jake owners of catering businesses, you see Maria can have all the kids helping, putting the spoons up on the table. You know, that's a great help. You know, so when you have homegrown homegrown things, homegrown ideas, and by home I mean the fatherland. So if you have Israelite ideas, that's incorporating family, that's incorporating the laws. That's something that the so-called white man he hates for me to even envision that. For me to you know, have some sort of event and it be in righteousness. You know, have women with dresses on with their heads covered saying Kwam Nasrallah. You know what I mean? Kids practicing swordsmanship with, you know, wood swords. You know, it's outside. It doesn't have to be an air conditioned event. You know, we can shower when we get home. That's like Jake thinks. Oh man. But you know what? I'm just gonna go to one more, and we're gonna go into the Apocrypha, aka the white man's. That white man hate this. Look, as I bring it up close, look, they get more scared. Dun dun dun. Oh, they hate that. Oh, they're gonna love it too, and they're gonna love this one verse. This is a knockout punch to Esau as I get out of this, as I get out of this lesson real quick. And I am going to this is Ecclesiasticus, but more commonly known as Sirach. This is Sirach chapter 36, verse 12. You know what? We'll just start at 36, since I'm going to be ending on that note. Have mercy upon us, O Lord God of all, and behold us, and send thy fear upon all the nations that seek not after thee. So, you know, a lot of people say, "Oh, you can't say that. You can't say that we're not a part of it because it says, "Oh Lord God of all." When he says all, he means all the Israelites from all the four corners of the earth. You know, that's who he's pertaining to, because this is for Israel. And send thy fear upon all the nations that seek not after thee. And these are most of the other nations, you know. And when I say most, all the other nations that are not within Israel. And Israel is everywhere. So they're sprinkled in, you know, here and there. Lift up thy hand against the strange nations and let them see thy power. As thou wast sanctified in us before them, so be thou magnified among them before us. Let them know thee, as we have known thee. There is no God but only thou, O God. And there is no God but only thou, O Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. That's it. There is no Ahaya. There is none of that other shit. All there is Yahweh. That is the name of who you perceive as God. That's it. There's no getting around that. Show new signs and make other strange wonders. Glorify thy hand and thy right arm, that they may set forth thy wondrous works. And why does he always pertain the right arm? Right this, right that. You see, he has a left arm. And that left arm is that evilness and everything else, because the Lord is good and evil. He controls everything. He even controls Satan. Satan is under subjection. He's not able to freely roam or anything like that. He's under God's subjection. So that's why we're his right hand. We're the right hand who is going to overtake the left hand, and then subsequently replace that left hand with two right hands. You know, like when you dance and you fucking up two left feet, we gonna have two right feet. So we always gonna be dancing a good tune and singing that continuous song in the name of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai Bahashim Kakodash Kwam Yasharala. You know, and that's how you should feel every day. Raise up indignation and pour out wrath. Take away the adversary and destroy the enemy. And you know who the enemy is, so-called white man, 2/3 of our own people, and the heathen. Make the time short. Remember the covenant, the promise, and let them declare thy wonderful works, and let them declare it. So you want to hear them say one day, these are the men of the Lord. We won't stop until they fall into subjection and they say, yes, these men that were on earth, these are the men of the Lord. We won't stop until y'all come under subjection. And even when you do, that still don't mean nothing, because the Lord is over us. So you're not bound down to us, you're bound down to the Most High. Let him that escapeth be consumed by the rage of the fire, and let them perish that oppress the people. And who's going to perish that oppresses the people? We don't oppress people. We go to work. We deal with our women. We go over precepts. Lord willing, we hit the highways and byways. Lord willing, we keep the commandments. You know, we're very simple people. Jacob is a very simple man. That's why we come from him. We're not all complex and shit. You know, they had the E3 live show that I think it's probably still on. What's the point of that, man? It's just a bunch of complex bullshit. They're going to have a bunch of boo-boo ass games that are no good. They don't teach anything. And I'm not saying they could have an Israelite game, but they could have something that may have some substance to it. The only game that probably has substance to it is Assassin's Creed. And actually, my younger brother, he's a teenager, and he was telling me about Assassin's Creed and how they had to fight the Illuminati and they were Native Americans. And I thought to myself, well goddamn, that sounds kind of like Gad, as he's describing it. And I mean, he didn't even know what he was describing, so wonders will be showed, and a lot of people who show the signs, they won't even know, because as he described, I was thinking like, damn, this is the same plot that we hear every time. There are good men that inhabit a place, bad people come, take it over, then they rewrite the history and say that they were there the whole time, that they're good, that they've always been good. We can't deal with it anymore. That's why we pray for the Most High to come, but we really don't want him to come truly, because that's a terrible day. We pray for him to come and put us at ease, but the troubles that we will face in those times, we will lose a lot. A lot of willingly elect men, are going to die, and some will be martyrs. Some, it just depends. But if it's for Yahweh Yahushai, then you're doing a good thing, and you'll reap your reward, brother. To all my Akim out there, you'll reap your reward. I promise you that. And here we go. Let him that escapeth be consumed by the rage of fire, and let them perish that oppress the people. Smite in sunder the heads of the rulers of the heathen, that say there is none other but we. So who are those? The powers that be, aka the elite. So we got to crush them too. And I'm going to end it on this point, and I'm just feeling it as I'm about to read it. Kwam Yasharala. Kwam Yasharala for this, because this is an indicator for us. Okay, this is an indicator for us. Gather all the tribes of Jacob together, and inherit thou them as from the beginning. And from the very beginning, man, we were a chosen people, and we have fallen from grace, and we can make it back, Lord willing, elect men. If you believe that you come from the line of Jacob, if you believe that you are directly related to King David, King Solomon, and in duty. You know, if you do these things in duty, if you believe that you are Jacob, the world will fall away, and there'll be nothing but great things after that. You continue to read this Apocrypha, continue to read this King James version of the Bible. You'll continue to make it. You'll continue to make it forward. I've had all sorts of things happen. I lost a job. I had all, because of I believe my beliefs. I'm not too sure. I've had all sorts of things happen to me. It's nothing. It's nothing for a man who truly believes in Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakodash, and pays attention to the Lashawan Kodash, and the words of the prophets, the words of the of the prophets. The words of Jeremiah, the words of Samuel, the words of Matthew, the words of Luke, and so on and so forth, the words of Paul, the words of John. All these great people, we are directly related to them. We all come from that. We all come from that royal priesthood. You don't have to be a Levite to come from a royal priesthood. You gotta get one of these. It's free. This is just free growth. You don't have to line your shit up all low. You know what I mean? This is very healthy, very natural. And you get a good glow, from head to toe, because the Lord anoints you with that oil. You constantly have a feeling of renewed energy. And that's the Lord, that's the Spirit, and it's Jacob. It's not for Esau, it's not for the heathen. This zeal is not for them, and they'll have zeal in their work, but our work is here. That's the only work we're going to be doing in the kingdom, is going over precepts. Even in the kingdom, even when we come back, when we go up into what you perceive as heaven, and we go into the 12 gates, when all that is brought down back unto the earth in this end time, when that's brought back down to the earth, there's nothing you're going to be able to say. We're going to be kicked up. Our feet are going to be kicked up, going over precepts with multiple large quantities of brothers. It's going to be brothers on the coastline over here, over there. People are going to be bringing you drinks. It's going to be great. Keep on going. Kwam Yasharallah, brothers. Kwam Yasharallah. Keep it up. If they cut off your channel, create another one. It's not going to stop. We're going to keep on. We're going to keep edifying our brothers. We're going to keep edifying our sisters. Lord willing, we're going to stay under the eyes of the cherubim, under the eyes of the angels, and let's hope that, we can keep those scouts watching us, because a lot of the brothers have angels watching them. In fact, a lot of Israelites have angels watching them, and the angels may be like, hey, this brother right here, he's coming into the truth, so they send a certain person to follow this person. And like your guardian angel, make sure that the precepts are on his mind, and the angel can send that he can directly send that spirit onto you. And that's why I pray for it continuously every day, that angel is on my right side and he's not on my left side. I pray he's on my right side. And you've seen the cartoon where they have the devil on the left, angel on the right. You want that angel to continually have his hand on your shoulder and move through you. You know what I mean? And you're not worshiping the angel. You're worshiping who the angel came from, because he's a messenger. Angel is just a messenger. So who he came from, the angel behind your shoulder, who he came from, that's who you worship. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. With that, hey, Kwam Yasharallah, Call Halal, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rekakodash. Shalom to all the elect. Shalom to the sincere apostles, because there are some sincere apostles. Shalom to them. Shalom to the 144,000. Shalom to the 1/3. Death to Babylon. And death to the nigger woman. okay, which is you 2/3 black women, you damn weave wearing, white boy loving, coupon using, even though you got the money to spend because your husband is white. All that, you going down. You know you're going down. And you know what? And just because, see, they wanted me to hop offline. They see I did my outro, and they're like, finally, that nigga's done. One more. I gotta read Ezekiel 38. I gotta read Ezekiel 38 because they really wanted me offline. But hey, I'm back. I'm back, nigga. one more. This is Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 1. And the Lord of the in Salakia. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Mesesh and Tubal, and prophesy against him. So that's the area that you perceive as Russia. And say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Mesesh and Tubal. And I will turn thee back, and put hooks into thy jaws, and will set thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, and all them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and garment, Salakia, and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togomar of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou, and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. In many days thou shalt be visited. In the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people, against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste. But it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands, and many people with thee. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, It shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates, to take spoil and to take a prey, and turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods, and dwell in the midst of the land. Sheba and Dedan, and the merchants of Tarshish, with all the young lions thereof, shall say unto thee, Art thou come to take a spoil? Hast thou gathered thy company to take a prey, to carry away silver and gold, to take away cattle and goods, to take a great spoil? Therefore, son of man, prophesy and say unto Gog, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, In that day when my people of Israel dwelleth safely, shalt thou not know it? Yeah, are y'all not going to know? You're going to know. And thou shalt come from thy place out of the north parts. And once again, the north parts, I mean, that's another indicator that it's Russia. And you can say that it's not, or whatever the case, but all scholars say that Gog and Magog, that's Russia. So we already know that. You already know. And thou shalt come from the place of the north parts, thou, and many people with thee, all of them riding upon horses, a great company, and a mighty army. And thou shalt come up against my people of Israel, as a cloud to cover the land, and it shall be in the latter days. And I will bring thee against my land, and the heathen may know me, when I shall be sanctified in thee, O Gog, before their eyes. So he's gonna do it. So this ain't gonna just happen and nobody know. No, when the Lord makes moves, you're gonna know it. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Art thou he of whom I have spoken in old time by my servants, the prophets of Israel? So once again, if you're a prophet, you're a servant. If you're a Lord willing a prophet. which prophesies in those days many years that I would bring thee against them. So we've been saying this for the longest. They've been saying this all the way back then. There's going to be a place called Babylon, which is now, this is Babylon the Great. You know, women are going to try to be women are ahead of men, all sorts of abominations. You know, there's going to be sex changes and, you know, pre-packaged GMO food. I mean, they already knew that back then. In fact, I can't think of the guy's name, but there was a Edomite in the 50s who wrote a book about that. And they were calling him crazy because he said that one day people will have like frozen meals and that they'll put them into like a device and they'll, you know, generate enough heat to it'll warm it up. And they called him crazy. And what do we have now? Only white people eat, you know, and there's nothing wrong with eating a frozen meal. You don't have the time, you know, or maybe you're at work, whatever the case is. But white people or so-called white people are the only people that continuously eat them frozen meals because their women don't cook. How the hell you make $300,000 a year and your woman don't cook, man? That's a shame, man. That's a shame, man. And you want to talk low on us because we want our women to cook. Get the hell out of here, man. Fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here. And we can talk like that because though we be rude in speech, what can you do? You know, that's supposed to happen. We're Lord willing, the prophets of the Lord. We can speak. We can speak however we need to in righteousness. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, art thou he of whom I have spoken in old time by my servants, the prophets of Israel, which prophesied in those days many years that I would bring thee against them? And it shall come to pass at the same time when God shall come against the land of Israel, saith the Lord Yahweh, that my fury shall come up in my face. For in my jealousy and in the fire of my wrath have I spoken. Surely in that day there shall be a great shaking in the land of Israel, so that the fishes of the sea and the fowls of the heaven and the beasts of the field and all creeping things that creep upon the earth and all the men that are upon the face of the earth shall shake at my presence. And the mountains shall be thrown down, and the steep places shall fall, and every wall shall fall to the ground. And I will call for a sword against him throughout all my mountains, saith the Lord Yahweh. Every man's sword shall be against his brother. And that's an all-out calamitous war. This is what we perceive as World War III. That's what it's speaking on. And I'm going to finish this up and stop at 39, and I'll end this video. And I plead against him, Slack it, 22. And I will plead against him with pestilence and with blood, and I will rain upon him and upon his bands and upon the many people that are with him, an overflowing rain and great hailstones, fire and brimstone. And what are the key elements of a nuke? What you perceive as brimstone, sulfur, like a fire that's so hot it will just burn anything. Thus will I magnify myself and sanctify myself, and I will be known in the eyes of many nations, and they shall know that I am the Lord. So in those times, all these other nations are going to start to see the chariots. They're going to start to see apparitions, which you perceive as ghosts or spirits coming and killing certain individuals. You're going to see UFOs, what's perceived as UFOs shooting beams, killing people. You're going to see people being on Earth, us, Lord willing, being activated with certain powers in order to read minds, in order to fly. All these things will happen all at once. And this is how you know that the Lord God has arrived through his son, Yahushua Mashiach. Since I'm almost going to end this video, I'm going to, stop that little conference call. But back to what I was saying, and sometimes things can be distracted, but that's the Lord. He put it right back into your mind. I'm right back where I was. Anyways, with the nukes in the sulfur, there's not going to be a way to escape. This is what's going to happen. All these nations are going to fight against each other, right? And these nukes are going to be the final precursor. And before that happens, right before the nukes, you'll see the apparitions. You'll see the UFOs. You'll see the elect men getting these powers. You'll see these great things take place, and then, you know what I mean. You're going to see great things take place. The death of many Edomites. Death of many Edomites. And Esau wants Jacob's world. He's never going to get it. We're gonna inherit the powers. We've inherited the covenant. We've inherited everything. Kwam Yasharala, brothers, and shalom to the hopeful elect.